Our next guest is Roberto Vargas. Roberto is the author of 2 collections of poetry, Primeros Cantos and Nicaragua Yo Te Canto Balas, Besos y Sueños de Libertad. He is the former Associate Director of the Neighborhood Arts Program and former Culture and Labor Attaché for Nicaragua in Washington, D.C., and later in Beijing. 2 years ago, through a City Hall proclamation, he was named the Honorary Poet Laureate of the Mission District. He is currently an organizer for the Teachers Union in San Antonio, Texas. He's come all the way from Texas to be with us this afternoon, so let's welcome Roberto Vargas.
So, ¿cómo estamos? Wow, this is amazing. I'm over here and I look, oh my God. Nicaragua, aquí está la Auralina, está la Daisy, está Martita la Clera, está Januar. Everywhere I turn, aquí está Nicaragua. Like, you know, the mission seemed to have some kind of roots aquí, los Nicas, ¿verdad? I wonder, the Mayan roots. Got Michael Rios, who began to paint up the mural for us. All the poets, oh my God, Jack, when I was a kid over in North Beach, I estaba Jack taking care of me, so I fall into the hands of people like Allen Ginsberg, mi camarada Allen, everybody. Aquí está some of the future poet laureates. También, ahí está Chico, ahí está Eddie Williams. Wow.
¿Los nacatamales dónde están?
Está en Chile. So I told Alejandro that I would say a few words in terms of, what had me fascinated for the longest period of time right now, over the last couple of months, was that whole phenomena that aquí in Norte America, people were saying that, there was going to be the end of the world, venía, que the Mayans had predicted, et cetera, et cetera. You know, when all along, the Mayan culture, had been one of the highest civilizations on this continent, on this world, okay, on the world, the planet, dealing with mathematics, dealing with everything, and including all the forms of calendars that were constructed at the time. This was man-made as well, but this one had one of the best. And they had broken it down into cartoons, which I won't get into because it's complicated. But this cartoon was coming to an end on the 21st of December of last year, a month and a half ago. So everybody was fascinated, all the different products that were being sold. You better buy tons of water because the world's coming to an end. ¿Cómo? The normal corporate situation where, cashing in. So we're saying, no, wait a minute. We remembered years ago when Alejandro, all of us got involved in the, 71, 72, began to get involved con Doctor Maestro Andrés Segura, when he was in Davis, right? He was at UC Davis, and I won't name the gentleman who wrote a book, The Teachings of Como, and but it was actually Andrés. It was actually Andrés that he had used all of his powers and his magic and then put it somewhere else and he got famous. Okay. So Andrés came, we brought him out to the mission a number of times to stay with us up to Bernal Heights. He taught us how to use different ceremonies. When we baptized my son Ariel up on the mountain with Victor Hernandez Cruz, Elias Cortez, Dr. Carrillo, all of us were up there in 1971, walking up the mountains at the crack of dawn with water that we had pulled out from the secret river a month before that. It was very beautiful ceremonies, but we began to really, then we did the Festival de Sexto Sol. And people said, "Tan loco, what are you doing Festival de Sexto Sol? That's like 40 years away." We said, "We know." But if you look at the Bactuns, that's like how many thousands and millions of years ago. So 40 years ain't nada. So we did the Festival de Sexto Sol at that time with Doctor Alegría, and that was in 73, right, in Stanford, here in the Mission, Stanford, Berkeley, etc., San Francisco State. That's the kind of influences that we had at the time, and we kept them going. So this is why we wanted, and this is why you saw Jorge bringing up all that beautiful sound and reminding us that this is not the end of the world, it's the end of an era. But it's now an age of enlightenment. And even some say that it might be the more feminist, femenina. It's a time for our feminine selves to come out, the kukulkan, the serpent to come out. Okay? And that is something that we have to accept as men. So it is. That is that this civilization will be better for it. That we will stop all these chicken shit wars, etc. It's a new time. Ahora tenemos que buscar the age of enlightenment. Go forward with each other. And then, with that said, we have Dr. Cuellar, a friend of mine, professor. I'm in San Antonio now, and everywhere, when I first got there, I said, "Do you know Dr. Cuellar?" I said, "No, I missed him." He said, "Well, you just came to San Antonio. He just went to San Francisco." All right, so here we meet right now. Dr. Cuellar is Professor Emeritus at San Francisco State University. He is the musical leader of Dr. Loco's Rocking Jalapeno Band. It's a fusion of the borderland music, style of Chicano, Tejano, and Louisiana style, good stuff. In 2012, he was a Hardy Curatorial Fellow at the Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology at Harvard. He researched and recorded significant samples of Mesoamerican flutes, ocarinas, whistles, and rattles. He is currently part of the faculty at Latino Studies at City College of San Francisco. So, please, welcome Dr. Cuellar. Profe, ¿dónde estás?